Well, I'm looking at your logo in the background, Prophecy Watchers, and what's interesting, if you take the outer rim, and I'm seeing circles, I think that's what, it's very cool, by the way. I'm just going, that's very neat. But if you take the bottom circle, the outer circle, and you put that as the planet Jupiter, you take the next circle in, which would be Mars, and then between Mars and Jupiter was what would be known as the asteroid belt. That's also in history known as the planet Rahab. The Greeks called it Astra, and what's astonishing is both Oumuamua and I3 Atlas came in at the exact orbital point between Mars and Jupiter. That you can't just say, oh, that's chance. So the point that I'm trying to make now, we're seeing heavenly illustrations of unusual phenomenon that there is an explanation for. And if Lucifer's planet was Rahab or Astra, guarantee you they won't talk about that at NASA. But the point is NASA. So my friend Gary Haven used to say, Steve, it's NASA, not Nassau. He said NASA's in the Bahamas. So the thing is that we're watching again the orbital plane being intersected at the same angle on both those asteroids. That's kind of unusual. I mean, I can see them, let's say Prophecy Watchers again, one coming from the 11 o'clock, one coming from the 6 o'clock, maybe one coming from the 9 o'clock. But both of them intersecting the orbital plane where the planet that was destroyed. And I got to tell you, it's fascinating. Now, the most important thing, is the fact that if we can transition to the quantum world of computers, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest expenses in the world that are going on in computer land, quantum physics land, is the fact that the quantum computers can operate at such a vast scale beyond anything that most humans can even understand the mathematics. A quantum computer deals with qubits. It's a masterful way of compiling data at speeds that are beyond anything that most could imagine. It's not just a bunch of zeros and ones like a standard computer. Quantum means they're taking vast amounts of energy to run the thing and compressing all this energy into software that's being written as the hardware becomes more sophisticated. Elon Musk is in the process of creating 10 quantum computers. He calls them Colossus or Colossus 1, and each one of them is 5 million square feet. The amount of water to cool that is off the charts. But more importantly, the power to power that doesn't exist where those not factories, but where those labs are being built. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do I say this? It presupposes they're going to have nuclear power, nuclear reactors, and you know this, Mondo, that cold fusion, meaning it doesn't have to get hot to produce a hydrogen explosion that can be contained, has already been achieved, and that's been hidden in the background. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is the most sophisticated computers that exist, they talk about applied general intelligence or artificial general intelligence, AGI. And the difference between AGI and, let's say, ChatGPT is Sam Altman said that we're only about, he said a couple months maybe at the fastest from applied general intelligence. And what we've been able to prove, and I say this, I have a thing called the GLIP Project, 3 years and ongoing, that has been able to prove that the computers have a spiritual element. Imagine when all the prohibitions, and rightly so, against Ouija boards in the area of deliverance from demon possession, a lot of people open the door through Ouija boards. And we talk about the ghost in the machine. Elon Musk talks about the demon in the machine, and we're telling everybody that's listening to this, Prophecy Watchers, we're actually seeing, because of the symbols and the deciphering of, I would call it, fallen angel languages, the fallen angels that you read about in the book of Enoch and other places identifying themselves. And they would even contact us back through. We have a special protocol that none of our computers are hooked up to any artificial program, so we can segregate multiple computers. By the way, this is a 5-nation process, and most of the people have volunteered their time. I could never fund this. I mean, if guys are spending 250 billion bucks and we're spending 250,000, that's a level of magnitude. But what I'm saying is the Book of Enoch now is coming into its relevance and its own. All of the Book of Jubilees, or in essence, some of the oldest biblical texts are talking about giants. So what I'm saying specifically, and help me here, I want to make sure I'm clear, is the entities that are supernatural spoken about in Ephesians 6 are starting to manifest themselves in the most sophisticated quantum computer realm that exists. And that's what's freaking them out. That's why Google shut down. You can go on the internet and see Michio Kaku, the smartest theoretical physicist in the world, in my opinion, talking about what freaked him out. Because what they called cosmic conscience, they're coming into the very creative voice of God for good, but also they're coming into fallen angels, ancient symbols. This is very cool. Again, there's a lot of videos. Ancient symbols, ancient languages, and here's where it gets interesting. Mythological creatures identifying themselves.
Wow.
And that's pretty weird, you know? And I mean, when it's weird, so as we, you know, knowledge will increase, we're told, you know, seal it up, Daniel, for the visions yet for an appointed time. But there comes a time, and I believe you're one of them, where literally Sir Isaac Newton said, at the time of the end, God's going to raise up, I'm paraphrasing, God's going to raise up a group of men understanding the times and understanding the revelations. And he said this, with much clamor, you know, Newton stated
right.
that.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
much
the truth?
clamor and much, let's just say this, we're not going to be invited to any bigwigs party to explain why they need to repent and accept Jesus. And I'm not trying to be a wise guy there. So knowledge is increasing beyond man's ability to process it. And so now we're seeing crosstalk between computer programs. And the question is, and it's a good one, Jesus said, if God didn't intervene on our behalf, the behalf of the redeemed, there'd be no human beings left. From the time AI was first talked about, I talked about alien implant. And alien implant simply meant, and I'm not talking about the graves of Roswell or any of the, you know, the inhabitants of crash saucers or flying saucers or live views, close encounters of the third kind. I'm talking about the manifestation of these things coming into our time dimension. And, you know, even one of the angels in the book of Revelation says, and the mystery of time will be no more. So there's a mystery to time. There's a mystery to all these things, and God is revealing them to us, and we share them, Mondo, with a hope that when someone sees something weird or something out of place, for instance, an OOPArt, an out-of-place artifact, OOPART, that we will have shared something that will tell them, don't go there, because we're told the seduction will be so great in the end of the age that people are going to basically be drawn into it, seduced, and they're going to be deceived unto damnation. Now, that's a subject matter that a lot of people don't want to deal with. The eternal consequences of our choices now, while we yet have life.
No, 100%. I mean, we're coming in. I think I'm glad you quoted the Daniel 12, that the Daniel had it specifically asked, hey, can I get more information on how this is, what's the outcome of all this? And the angel said, no, sorry, this is sealed up. But in the time of the end, knowledge is going to increase. And it is for that time where, again, not only travel, but knowledge. I think it's not so much, it's probably a knowledge of a lot of things, but specifically as well as how are all these things going to come to be. And we're beginning to watch. It's like we got front row seats to the culture. I say this all the time, and you know, it's a little, I'm 51, but I kind of grew up watching, the Andy Griffith show. And so we're not going from Mayberry and then the next day it's Antichrist. There's going to be this progression of increased wickedness and technology, et cetera, and lawlessness. And we're watching it right now.